Hi everyone, it's New Angela Soul reporting your news once again. Now you're gonna see me play this deck a lot, firstly because it's good, but more importantly because I really enjoy it. I'm playing up against Quetzal today. I don't know what breed of Quetzal this is. It could be Siphon Anarch, Anatomy of Anarch. It could be Mega Dig, Dots of Maker's Eyes and Legworks. So I open my hand and the first thing you immediately notice about it, let's pause the video here. The first thing you immediately notice is that you can do the Astro combo in 2 turns. First turn, install Sand and gain a credit. Second turn, score Astro script with the help of shipment from Sand. Now, scoring a quick Astro is a huge benefit. This deck has the advantage in prolonging the game because of paywall implementation and because of all the thick ice, Tollbooth and Newshound that you pay for with your money. However, being able to fast advance an Astro script that early on will put serious pressure on the runner, even if it means you going broke, because the Astro token will always stay with you. So, barring any turntable shenanigans, you will always keep them on their toes, especially if they're not running Clot. And this is why it's always a good idea to score an Astro script on turn 2, if possible. The subsequent play here is Wraparound on HQ. Because I cannot ascertain that he's not running a Siphon deck, I need to ice up HQ, even if it means risking a Keyhole or Medium in the next turn. I'm never going to rest a Wraparound on HQ to defend against Siphon. And since he doesn't do anything meaningful on his first turn, I'm just going to straight away fast advance the Astro script. Firstly, I now threaten fast advance. Secondly, I force him to trash my Sand City Grid with his hard-earned Liberator account credits. He has to. Alright, so here he runs HQ, and as I promised, I'm not going to rest the wraparound because I don't have enough credits. I'm broke. But that's not important. The main thing here is to threaten ice on HQ so that he can never ever blind siphon me. So here he installs a medium and double runs R&D. So this is the expected counterplay, and it can't be helped. You're trading an early fast advance plan, guaranteed fast advance plan in the form of Astro script, for a possible runner snowballing out advantage using mediums. So now that looking at my draws, the best solution obviously is to place Newshound on R&D and res it when he runs next turn. It does not have an end to run, unfortunately, because I haven't found my paywalls yet, but that's fine. The threat of tags should keep him honest, and as a result, he will probably not run again, especially after he hits the one of 2 Cyberdex Fire Suites in my deck. I got very lucky there. He could easily just go tag me and run through my R&D, but no, he decides to clear the tag, beat the trace, and then stop running after hitting the Cyberdex. So this gives me time to build up. Of course, I click for 3 credits here, and he knows that because I couldn't really score agendas, due to me being poor, he can take his time to trash the Sand. It wasn't a must trash. Only when he finds his imp does he go for the Sand, a very good play by my opponent. Diffusing the Sand is a must, and no better way to do it than with the imp. And next, he parasites my Newshound, which kind of indicates to me that he doesn't really have a proper solution for my Newshound, which probably means he's running Mimic. A pretty good guess anyway. Here I draw into marked accounts, and that's very good economy, except that my opponent has an imp token. That's not going to do. So I cannot play the marked accounts this turn. What I'm going to do is defend against medium by installing the Wraparound R&D. Wraparound does nothing against Quetzal, but at least I can limit damage control. Limit his medium digging to 1 run per turn. That should help. In the meantime, he does his own stuff, and now I can begin thinking about hitting my marked accounts. I'm going to install a Newshound and a marked accounts. My third click should be spent hitting the marked accounts, but I decide to click for a credit instead because I want to bait him into running my remote. I want him to think that there's a build in the remote. I want to force him to run it. He doesn't run it, and I've drawn an Astro instead. Do I hit the marked accounts for money or score the Astro? The choice is obvious. Of course, I go for the Astro. I wait for the Clot in case he has a Clot on the Peddler, but I think that's pretty unlikely. And if there was a Clot, I could install Jackson on top of the Astro to deny him from stealing it the next turn. So that's all fine and dandy. And now Parasite goes up to 3 on my Strength 4 Newshound. Again, this is testament to the strength, no pun intended, of high strength ice. Everything dies to Parasite sooner or later, but the longer you can delay something dying to Parasite, the better it is. In this case, I force him to bring out his Mimic and spend 1 credit to break the subroutine on Newshound just to get into R&D. And it is at this point that I draw into the paywall. Perfect for this opportunity. I'm going to play the paywall and hit my marked accounts, so I'm not going to lose in any case. If he runs my marked accounts, I gain money. If he runs my R&D using Quetzal's ability to see 2 cards, I gain money. If he runs my HQ, I gain money. Everything has a benefit. I don't mind. Of course, the worst case is him running R&D and seeing 2 cards. That can't be helped, and the worst is that now he has medium to go along, double medium to go along with it. So I need to protect R&D right now. He steals a Global Food Initiative, so he's up to 2 points. I'm on 4 points with an Astro token and a paywall on the board still, thanks to New Angela Sol. But I need a solution on R&D fast, and with very few credits to my name, this looks like a disaster. It seems like he's going to be able to run R&D again and see 4 cards. So I hit Jackson here, and draw 2 cards in the hopes of finding an ice. I don't see any ice, but I re-look at my hand and I see an amazing solution. Something that I've been looking forward to play ever since I built this deck. For the first time, I can finally utilize it. It's Brain Dead Quetzal! Her brain is fried. Static filling her eyes. Ghost white. Yes! This is my moment to shine. This is where my 4 influence spent on this Jinteki card will pay off at long last. With Cerebral Static, he can no longer run my R&D because he doesn't have Quetzal's ability. So I will not get R&D locked. I will not bleed agendas from R&D, and since there are no agendas anywhere else, I can take this time to stabilize my economy. His imp is gone. I can start playing my marked accounts out in the open. I can start playing Daily Business Show to filter through my deck. I can allow him to run through R&D HQ for all I care. He probably isn't running Siphon, but I'm still going to keep the wraparound there. Anyway, there are no agendas in hand. I'm not afraid of him accessing any of my cards at all. So here I draw 2 cards to see more money. I do see a Sweet Swig, and this puts me over the top. So now I can threaten a lot more nasty ice. On my 3rd click, I install the pad, but decide against it. I have more than enough money. Money is not an issue right now. What's the issue? Card draw. I need to find my 3rd Astro script or a similar agenda. So there goes the Daily Business Show. It's going to be Res next turn. In the meantime, he still doesn't have a solution to Cerebral Static or my wraparound. Does he have David? Does he have Kuroda? Doesn't seem like it. He's pretty poor too, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Although I still have to keep in mind that he can win outright by a lucky medium dig. I have to be aware that his virus counters need to be purged sooner or later, and this will come in the form of help from team sponsorship. I have a Cyberdex Virus Suite in my archives, and I have a team sponsorship in my hand. If I can score an agenda with team sponsorship res, I can revive Cyberdex Virus Suite for virus purging of the mediums. You bet I'm going to do that. So here I install a Sensitivity Grid, ready to fast advance should an opportune time arise. No, that's not, sorry, my bad, that's not a Sensen. That's probably the pet campaign that was in my hand. Yep. Alright, he makes a very smart move here. He denies the DBS knowing that he cannot really attack R&D. He needs to attack HQ, and the best way to do that is to deny my DBS so that I will be flooded with agendas in hand. So very smart on his part. I draw into my 2nd Cyberdex Virus Suite, so that basically seals up the game. Because I have no agendas in hand, and he cannot multi-access from R&D because of CBS. So I tap marked accounts. At this point, I don't really care about his imp. I have so many assets laid out, he can only trash 1 each turn. Of course, he goes for the pet, but I still have 2 marked accounts ticking, so I'm not concerned at all. I could rest the Cyberdex Virus Suite here to prevent him from trashing the pet with the imp, but I'm going to leave the Cyberdex on R&D because I probably need the money more. At this point, if I draw into a BO or an Astro, I need to biotic it out to put me on 6 points with an Astro token. There's no question about that. He plays an E3 feedback implants here, which is probably going to be redundant in this matchup. He does have 2 Data Sucker tokens though, so I need to be aware that he can get through Newshound, even though now I do have a current. Here I Jackson draw so that I can find an agenda. I find no agendas, so things will stay as they are. The pet campaign goes out to supplement my economy because he does run imp. Still has 1 more imp counter that I'm very aware of. He still doesn't have a solution to my wraparound, which is going to cause him a huge headache. And now he blindly legworks me, thinking that my HQ Ice is unresable. But on 8 credits, you should expect something, and in this case, it is the wraparound that I've been hiding since turn 1. with no solution to that because I've blanked out his ID and his brain is fizzling with all the electricity static, well, he can only play on my remotes. Now the sad thing is I'm not generating as much money as I do in usual games because I don't have paywall out. The paywall slot is taken by Cerebral Static, but that's fine. I have 2 marked accounts running. My money is pretty good. All I need is enough money to fast advance a single 3-2, and I'm more or less set to win the game. The trouble right now is I can't find my 3-2 agenda, and he has trashed my Jackson and DBS, so filtering through my deck is going to be painfully slow. This is not good for me. I'm giving him time to set up. I'm giving him wild side ticks. I'm giving him chances to install new cards, find new cards, get his chronotype, and now he has 4 clicks per turn. This is starting to get dangerous. DBS draws me an agenda, the 15 minutes. But I don't really care about scoring 15 minutes at this point, because I need the team sponsorship out. I haven't installed it yet. I haven't had the time. I was too busy solidifying my economy. I'm not going to score the 15 minutes without team sponsorship, because I do want to recur DBS or Jackson Howard or Cyberdex Virus Suite with the team sponsorship to further cement my lead, rather than fast advance the 15 minutes now and have him R&D lock me because I cannot sufficiently defend R&D. So it is a toll booth on R&D. If he decides to run R&D, he's gonna be greeted with -3 credits to his dismay. Let's see if he does that. He begins taking money off his Liberator accounts. So he's kind of keeping afloat on credits, but he finds his Faust, and that is something I need to worry about. I need to rush out the game before he starts plowing through my wraparound with Faust. Here I find a Project View, so I have enough agenda points in my hand to win the game, but I can't win on this turn. Or can I? Or can I? Do you see a way to win this turn? Sure, I could use Biotic Labor and Sense City Grid, but I might not have enough credits. Instead, I'm going to do it the fancy way. Install Double Advance BU on Sense City Grid. Use team sponsorship to trigger installation from HQ, installing 15 minutes on Sense City Grid, and advancing it with Astro token to win the game. How cool is that? I just got 3 points in a single turn. No one saw that one coming. This is why I like playing the yellow faction so much. There are so many creative things that you can do with the faction's agendas and cards. Besides Biotic Labor, you have the Astro Script token, you have Sense City Grid, all of which enable some really creative plays if you can spot them. Team sponsorship adds on to that in a whole new way because it compresses clicks. It essentially gives you a free click. It's like a Biotic Labor that costs the runner 4 credits to trash instead of costing you 4 credits to play. It's that amazing. So there are so many ways to pull off scoring patterns, especially in this deck, that runners typically don't anticipate. You're not on match point, they aren't too worried, they don't lock your R&D, that's what happens. You just win in one fell swoop and they don't even know what hit them. Cerebral Static. Oh my gosh, I can't overstate how impactful it was this game. It is a dead card in 3/4 of my games, but in that one game that I do find a use for it, it's absolutely game changing. Sure, those 2 card slots could have been ice. I could spend that influence on Eli's or Ichis, but in that situation, I didn't have enough money to play those ice, let alone res them. Cerebral Static, on the other hand, allowed me to stick it on the board, and it would stay there for the rest of the game, and I didn't have to worry about R&D pressure for almost the entire game from that point onwards. The best part is, unlike traditional ice, runners are typically not prepared for the sort of disruption that Cerebral Static brings. Noise is definitely not prepared to play a game without milling your cards. Max is definitely not prepared to have to manually draw click after click, and Quetzal isn't prepared to break through your barriers. She's completely reliant on her ability to break through Faust, and break through wraparound, and Cerebral Static basically killed him that game, especially when I was able to secure both centrals with wraparounds. I am super stoked for this card, and I think it's going to be very impactful in those few matches, and it's a very good reason to play New Angela's Soul. Now, I started this video talking about the turn 2 Astro script, and I'll end the video with it. I need to hit this home. This is so powerful, especially against matchups where you're anticipating Clot, such as Prepaid Kate. In this scenario, I wasn't anticipating Clot, but it's still very impactful, because the moment you score a single Astro, you're basically telling the opponent, you better lock my R&D for the rest of the game, otherwise I can always potentially threaten Astro Train by top decking an Astro Script. It also opens you the option to relieve agenda flight in HQ. If you happen to top deck a build, you find too many agendas in hand, you can just always score out that build, lose your Astro token, but you go up to 4 points and they can't legwork you for agendas. And that's pretty huge. This deck is all about allowing the runner to get into HQ, because typically you keep your HQ honest and clean. And Astro token supports that by allowing you to chain out the Astro Train or relieve agenda flood without the use of Jackson Howard, and that's pretty huge. So I hope this has been a very interesting game. It is certainly one of the most epic I had in some time. Well, thanks for watching and see you around. Happy net running!